On today's show, we celebrate the Great Minnesota Get-Together. Discover what's new in the Minnesota-bound cabin.
We have some fun new...
We also share the story behind our state fair offerings and the creative mind who helped design our limited edition logos.
Of art on a stick.
We tour the Northwoods and meet an artist who celebrates both Minnesota and the state fair.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Laura, Millie, and I welcome you to the special edition from the Minnesota State Fair.
We're here at the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin celebrating all things Minnesota.
Yeah, you know, right next door over there is our state fair neighbor, and it's a guy with a pretty special story to share.
Spencer Johnson created the SOTA clothing company, and as my dad Ron Scherer reports, it has become a staple brand.
We Minnesotans have tried and true favorites when it comes to visiting the state fair. A favorite food on a stick, or a visit to our favorite Minnesota-bound cabin. We're a loyal bunch, and when we come across something that captures our state pride and Midwest roots, we're drawn to it. Just follow the crowd.
I think it's just being around all the people, the energy. You can't get any energy like that at any other event.
Located in the Northwoods on Cooper Street, you'll find Spencer Johnson.
Lauren, are you back there?
The creator behind one of the best-selling clothing brands in Minnesota.
SOTA actually started at UMD. I had to do a graphic design project, and I branded SOTA. I felt like there wasn't any Minnesota apparel that I wanted to wear, so I wanted to create something clean and simple, and then here's SOTA clothing. So this paddle logo, we call it the MN paddle logo, is definitely our launching point, you know. I remember I had a second job and I released this logo and we did it on a hat, and I went and photographed. I used to be a photographer, and I went and photographed a house, and I came back and I saw all the orders start piling up on my phone. And I was like, all right, well, I think we're on to something here.
On to something, indeed. Spencer credits his inspirations to Mother Nature and the great outdoors.
Every year we would do a boundary waters trip with all of our cousins. So every year we'd go up north, you know. Now we have a cabin up north that we draw a lot of the inspiration from. We had a lake that was really close to our house that we'd always pull the canoe out, you know, and paddle on it.
SOTA clothing started small, but that didn't last.
So when I first started, we probably had 3 or 4 shirts, you know, a couple hats, a couple, you know, accessories. Now I think we have probably 120, 140 different SKUs of just apparel and hats. You know, so it's grown quite a bit. We're in one of the oldest commercial buildings in St. Louis Park. I love anything old. The building's old. I live in an old house in Minneapolis, you know. I like the stories and the energy and, you know, just how authentic these buildings are.
Authentic also explains his team.
So my first 2 employees were actually my sisters. My sister Kenzie came on because I'm not good at customer service, and Lauren's the operation person. She keeps everything moving.
My sister's right next door. Yep, so this wall is paper thin, so we're pretty aware of what we're up to throughout the day.
It makes communication real easy. You just yell for each other.
Our mom always made us work, you know, so we knew how to work well together and how to push through stuff. Especially when you do a startup, you're always grinding and pushing through, you know. So usually when the product comes in, we'll get it down here and iron it, and then we'll get it on the mannequin, shoot it on this brick wall, and then we'll edit it quick and get it onto the website.
This time of year, Spencer and his team are all hands on deck.
During the fair, we'll be down here pushing out 500 hats a day.
On occasion, Spencer is asked to rework existing brands. Say, for instance, a particular Minnesota TV show.
So Minnesota Bound's been around forever. You know, I grew up watching it. And it's fun taking what they've been currently doing and just reworking it a little bit. Not much has changed, you know. I think it still has your guys' feel to it, and that's what was important to me. It was not to change it too much.
Spencer's footprint at the State Fair has also come a long way.
So we started with one little camper. We had a few little tea stands and a little, just enough to kind of get us through. We got a new location. We're actually just 2 down. We were on the left side of Minnesota Bound. Now we're just on the right side of Minnesota Bound. It'll be pretty cool to see the transformation for this new spot. You know, when people are excited to be there, people are excited to see your stuff, people are excited to engage, you know, I think it's just an excitement. We couldn't be at any better of an event, you know, for Minnesota than the Minnesota State Fair.
Here at the Northwoods, it's the SOTA State Fair. I'm Ron Shera, Minnesota Bound.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Star Bank, White Bear Lake Superstore, and by Your Boat Club.
Oh, hey, there you are. We've been waiting for you. Come on in to the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin. I'm going to give you a tour. Lots of new goodies inside the log cabin this year, and of course we always have our crowd favorites each and every year, which includes Mom and Dad, our plush puppies that are ready to go home. We promise these are housebroken. We have Millie, we have Raven. I suggest you take home 2. Why not? Each and every year, we always carry the classic My Dad Ron Shera's Minnesota Outdoor Calendar. And believe it or not, this calendar was started in 1986. It's filled with beautiful wildlife art, and on each and every day, you'll find a unique fact about nature and the outdoors. And as a matter of fact, on April 23rd, which is my dad's birthday, it says Ron Shera plans to mature next year. I'll believe it when I see it, Dad. Moving on to some of the new items in the log cabin this year. Nothing beats having a hot cup of coffee on a front porch or at the cabin, so you might as well make it a Minnesota Bound coffee mug. We also have bottle openers, stickers, and really fun keychains. Also brand new for the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin this year is our apparel section. We have added Minnesota Bound hats, and of course, we have some fun new Minnesota Bound hoodies. And we have even more Minnesota Bound merchandise for you. This beautiful section was designed by SOTA Clothing. One of my personal favorites is the long sleeve Minnesota Bound tee, but we have other t-shirts and also this beautiful sweatshirt. You know, there are some traditions we just can't let go of, one of which is getting loony here at the State Fair. So when you come into the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin, make sure you test out the loon tune. Everybody loves free stuff when they come to the fair, so when you make a purchase at the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin, you'll receive a free reusable tote and some seed mix of some native prairie plants for you to plant in your own yard. Thanks for tagging along on the Minnesota Bound Log Cabin Tour. Stop by and see us and hang out with us on the front porch. If you're curious on what your seed packet will turn out like once planted, check out the beautiful garden with the pollinators at work.
Still ahead, iconic logos brought back to life at the fair by this artist. But first, Travis Frank takes us on an outdoor tour. Next.
Closed captioning provided by Radco Truck Accessories.
It is time to show you a little bit about outdoor life at the fair. And Travis, I think part of your tour probably has something to do with food.
Yeah, I think I'm one of Giggle's #1 customers at the fair here. But there are other things to do in the Northwoods, and I'm going to show you a few of my favorites.
It's time for you to get to work. Get out of here.
All right. Right behind me is our Minnesota-bound log cabin, but right behind our cabin, you'll find high-flying action on the Northwoods stage. All-star stunt dogs perform here 3 times a day. Once the dogs clear out, lumberjacks cut this place up, showing off their family-friendly flannel fun. Whew, that's a mouthful. It's really hard to focus on the live shows next door when the smells from Giggle's Campfire Grill trickle in. I told you I'm one of his best customers. Cheers! Yay! The walleye cakes and duck bacon wontons are almost too good to be true. Plus, they have dozens of beers on tap. Ever hear of art on a stick? Well, our brand new next door neighbors, they built their workshop right here in the Northwoods. Come on inside, let's check this out.
Bailey Builds, we're wood mosaic artists out of Duluth, Minnesota. I've been making art for 9 years. My husband joined me a couple years in, and we're just really invested in creating unique art that represents Minnesota and the Northland in a unique way.
Welcome to the Eco Building. The activities and information in this place might overwhelm you, kind of like that pile of poop. This right here is the Bagnado. In Minnesota, hard to believe this, but we throw away over 600 tons of plastic packaging and grocery bags every single day. Look at that. You gotta want it. Oh yeah, look at that. The pollinator exhibit is a must visit. Yeah, look at that. My turn. If you like pollinators, clean water, clean air, and healthy habitat, this is the place to be.
Alrighty, you'll get a little wet.
Ah, Lauren! Whoa, looky there.
Pretty nice.
Yes. That's pretty sweet. Once I've had my fill of food and fun, I like to hunker down at the DNR fish. Yeah, whoa, the DNR fish pond here, and dream about the big ones that hopefully don't get away. I think even Ron Shera could catch a fish here. At the Great Minnesota Get Together, you'll run out of time before you run out of things to do and food to eat. Now, I have to make it back to the Minnesota-bound cabin. If I can find it, I'll see you there.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Lakes Area Power Sports. Visit Brainerd. And by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Welcome back to the Minnesota State Fair. You know, who doesn't love a little bit of nostalgia mixed with a little bit of rock and roll?
Yeah, in this next story, people are going to get a little bit of both. Local artist Adam Turman started his career making band posters, but now he's a big name here at the fair. The Great Minnesota Get Together. So recognizable. And just one of our state's biggest brands. If you know these logos, chances are you know this guy.
I'm Adam Turman. I'm an artist from the Twin Cities.
Adam Turman's bold styles adorn surfaces all over town. From First Avenue posters to brewery cans and murals. And yes, the Minnesota State Fair.
2017 was the first year that I had a booth at the State Fair, and I needed to be convinced to do it. That was, you know, kind of a new thing for me. Now my booth had grown to about 3 times that size, still in the same spot. So the booth is on the 2nd level of the grandstand, and it's always been really fun for me to be at the fair because it is the Great Minnesota Get-Together, and that's, people just like to hang out.
Turman's artistic roots began with a hip mix of graphic design and Twin Cities rock and roll.
I went to school for graphic design, and so I'm trained as a graphic designer. I kind of came into this little collective of artists and designers, and they were making gig posters for First Avenue, and at the time the Triple Rock Social Club was around. I just got to do really fun, basically flyers. Eventually, that turned into screen-printed gig posters for those bands. So if we remember 2003, we remember CDs and CD release shows. And then what happened was that work that was free started to become paid. In 2012, I put in my notice at my full-time gig, and I went off on my own and took the plunge, and here we are today.
Adam's interest in Minnesota-esque folklore started with a few landmark pieces.
So I saw that everybody really loved these pieces that I made, so I just kept on making more landmark pieces, and then I got into doing some Paul Bunyan and Babe, the Blue Ox artwork. I just get people resonating with those characters.
Whether the canvas is urban-based or in the outdoors, Turman style is now a hip part of Minnesota culture.
Working with some of these brands, it's just fun because they've reached out to me, and that's really exciting. These are the Indian motorcycle air covers. I mean, it was really, heavy metal rock and roll kind of looking, and I've always been into that kind of look, so I thought that was really cool. I'm so proud of these pieces. I just love them.
Turman's newest artistic vision appears larger than life.
All right, here we go. We got up on the roof line over here on the brewery, and then we put a projector on the brewery. Okay. Do I like that?
Art in action. And Adam lives it.
You didn't do the mural in the Van Merrill at the stadium, did you?
Yeah, I sure did. I think I'm gonna wrap it up today. We've got Minnesota Bound is here, checking it out right here. So I gotta concentrate when I do that. If I spell my name wrong for this, it's gonna suck.
An artistic signature people search out, especially at the fair.
It's awesome. It's a lot of work. It is so much work, but it is so rewarding at the same time. It's amazing, and I love that part about the State Fair.
Creating art for every fair goer, but more importantly, creating art for himself. And that's the best part.
I think that's it.
Now that is some cool art. I think he's located in the grandstand, his booth.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, we hope to see you out here. We'll be here every day at the fair. You also can run inside and check out some of our new merch.
That's right. Stop by and see us. And until next week, remember to introduce a kid to the great outdoors. You ready for a corn dog?
Yeah, no, let's go. Corn dogs.
Let's go.
She's like, really?
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.